Let's jump forward a couple of years to 2026. The single biggest challenge holding you back in your career, it isn't going to be a lack of tools or a shortage of data. No, it's going to be something way more fundamental, a growing struggle to just think, deeply. So today, we're going to break down exactly why this is happening and reveal the hidden cost you're probably already paying.
So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? Your day is just packed, back to back. Your phone is constantly buzzing. You're always doing something. And yet, when the day is over, you just feel this sense of, mental gridlock. Like for all that running around, you haven't actually moved forward at all. If that hits home, trust me, you are not alone.
And you know what the crazy part is? This isn't some kind of personal failure. It's a huge, widespread problem that's hitting even the sharpest minds out there. We've got all these amazing high-tech tools, AI assistants, instant collaboration platforms. But the one thing they can't do for us, that deep, focused thinking, seems to be getting harder and harder to access.
So there's actually a name for this invisible drain on our brain power. It's called the Connectivity-Cognition Tax. Yeah, think of it like a tax that gets automatically deducted from your mental bank account every single time you glance at a notification or switch between tasks. It's the hidden price we're all paying for being constantly plugged in.
And this really gets to the heart of why this matters so much. Because in the world we live in, the most valuable thing isn't just raw data or how fast you can respond to an email. It's clarity. It's the ability to see the big picture and make smart connections. And that Connectivity-Cognition Tax, it is directly attacking our ability to be clear.
All right, so we know this tax exists, but the really important question is, why are we paying it? What is actually going on here? To solve the problem, we've got to understand the root causes, the things in our environment and even in our own brains that are making us pay up. Let's dive in.
Okay, so first up, our work environments. We've been sold this idea of seamless workflow, right? But what does that actually become in reality? It's become seamless interruption. Our digital tools, our whole way of working, is basically designed to fragment our attention. Every ping, every message, every pop-up is a tiny little paper cut to our focus.
And here's the real cost of all that switching. See, to get into that amazing state of deep work, that flow state, your brain needs about 10 to 20 minutes of uninterrupted focus just to warm up. But when we're constantly being interrupted, we never get there. Instead, we're stuck with this thing called attention residue, where a part of your brain is still thinking about the last thing you were doing. It means you're never giving 100% to what's right in front of you.
The second cause? Well, this one is inside our own heads. It's biochemical. Our brains are hardwired to love new things, and our devices are brilliant at hijacking that system. Every new email, every like on a post gives us a tiny little hit of a chemical called dopamine. It feels good, it feels productive, but really, it's a neurological trap.
And what happens over time? We literally train our brains to be lazy. We've conditioned ourselves to want that quick, easy dopamine hit from checking our phone instead of doing the hard, sometimes frustrating work of real, deep thinking. It's like our brains are getting out of shape for the kind of mental heavy lifting that leads to breakthrough ideas.
Third, we've kind of killed boredom. And I mean that in a bad way. Think about it. When do you get your best ideas? It's almost never when you're staring at a screen, right? It's in the shower, or on a walk, or just staring out the window. That mental empty space is where our brains make connections. By filling every single spare moment with our phones, we're basically starving our minds of the quiet time they need to be creative.
And now for the big irony. The more successful you become, the worse this tax gets. As you climb the ladder, the expectation to be available 24/7 just goes through the roof. Your calendar turns into a battlefield of back-to-back meetings, and you're just constantly reacting. You suffer from decision fatigue, spending all your mental energy on the urgent stuff, with absolutely nothing left for the important stuff.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis, and I know it sounds a little bleak. But here's the good news, the really good news. This tax is totally optional. You can choose to stop paying it. So let's shift gears. Enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. How do we go from being reactive and distracted to proactive and focused?
Just look at this table. It shows two totally different ways of operating. On the left, you have the reactively connected person. They're chasing efficiency, trying not to mess up, and they feel busy, but kind of empty. Now look at the right, the directed thinker. They're focused on making an impact, driven by a real purpose, and they feel challenged, but fulfilled. The big question for all of us is, how do we get from that left column over to the right?
Well, it starts with a few huge mindset shifts. First, stop measuring your day by how many hours you were online or how many emails you cleared. Instead, audit your impact. What did you do that actually mattered? Second, build what's called a portable identity. Your value isn't your job title, it's your wisdom, your experience. That makes you way more resilient. And third, always keep a beginner's mind. Stay curious. Curiosity is the ultimate weapon against getting stuck in a rut.
Okay, so what are some practical things you can do? Try this. Build a personal board of directors, a small group of trusted people who can give you honest feedback and pull you out of your own bubble. And use the grandmother test. If you can't explain what you're working on to your grandma in simple terms, you probably don't understand it well enough yourself. And finally, stop seeing your experience as golden handcuffs, tying you to one career. See it as rocket fuel that can launch you into whatever's next.
Because at the end of the day, beating this tax isn't about finding a new productivity app. It's much deeper than that. It's about deciding what you truly value. It's about choosing to become a version of yourself that prizes wisdom over widgets and legacy over likes.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. When you think about all these little taxes, the constant interruptions, the dopamine hits, the death of solitude, what's the one piece of that cognitive tax you can decide right now to stop paying starting tomorrow?